World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley in Washington. Let's just contemplate for a second this very interesting op-ed in the Washington Post today, October 16th, 2009. Ronald D. Rotunda and J. Peter Pham, P-H-A-M, one a law professor, another a think tanker, and whoever they are, the arguments are convincing. An unconstitutional Nobel. We have to remember, Article 1, Section 9, that's the so-called emolument clause. No person, it's actually title of nobility clause, I think is a better, you're not allowed to accept titles of nobility or similar titles from foreign governments if you want to work for the U.S. government. No person holding any office of profit or trust under the United States shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. Now, I had written an essay about this in 1995. You may find this on the Internet. U.S. Constitution bars Colin Powell from the presidency. Because Colin Powell, Sir Colin, had accepted a knighthood from the British government, and he preened himself on the fact that the Queen of Colonialism had given him this title. We've got Sir George Bush the Elder, Sir Henry Kissinger, Sir Brent Scowcroft, Sir Norman Schwarzkopf for the general of the First Gulf War. We've got a couple of others, but Sir, all these sirs, right? But Colin Powell made the mistake of thinking about going back into politics, elected politics, after he had gotten this knighthood, and of course he then became Secretary of State, and by that time there was nothing more to do. But this is now another constitutional issue, which I think the friends of the Constitution are undoubtedly going to be very interested in this fact. Now, again, the idea is that the Nobel Prize is a commission, in this case the Peace Prize, 5 members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, elected by the Storting, that is the Great Assembly, the Parliament of Norway, and this is then distilled into a body representing the legislature of a sovereign foreign state, and the emolument is $1.4 million. Now, Obama says he'll give it to charity. Wait a minute. If you give $1.4 million to charity, you then get an income tax deduction. You pay less taxes to the tune of $50,000 is subtracted from your taxable income. So that is a piece of change. It is a tangible or intangible present, and the law says if the president accepts a tangible or intangible present for more than a minimum value from any foreign government, the gift shall become the property of the United States. So Obama's not just violating the Constitution by accepting the Nobel Prize. He's violating a statute law that money is not his. He can't give it to charity. That goes to the U.S. Treasury to reduce the deficit. And now we see that Obama is a serial offender. June 3rd, 2009, when Obama was in the Middle East for his demagogic speech in Cairo, trying to dupe the Islamic world into becoming his tool against Russia and China, this was the trip where Obama bowed to the king of Saudi Arabia. He received the collar of King Abdul Aziz Order of Merit. That is to say, a collar probably made of gold or silver with all kinds of gems, diamonds, rubies, God knows what. This is the highest decoration in the repertoire of Saudi Arabia. He received it from King Abdullah. That was when he was kowtowing and scraping and bowing like a toady for the king of Saudi Arabia. Bush the Elder had been awarded this same order in January of the previous year. So this is a chivalric order. This is another violation of the Constitution. So time to get busy. Start with this very interesting article, An Unconstitutional Nobel by Ronald D. Rotunda and J. Peter Pham, P-H-A-M, Washington Post, 16th of October. Now, in the time we have left, let's go back to economics. We want to mention, first of all, the question of the social safety net under heavy attack. Washington Post a couple of days ago points out many defined pension funds. Now, this is not a 401k or an IRA where you're on your own and all the risk shifts to you. This is theoretically where you have got the right in a contract to get a defined benefit pension with a cost of living escalator. And, of course, the problem is that the pension funds, under the hypnotic spell of the Wall Street jackals, put all the money into derivatives. So this is where we have state pension funds like Maryland and other places have lost between 20 and 30% of their funds. So lots and lots of people still have defined pension funds. These were the lucky ones, right? These were the traditional pensions, not the ones that you have to manage and where you're supposedly exposed to the ups and downs of the market. But this is where you were supposed to be guaranteed. Obviously, you're not going to be guaranteed because the only contracts that matter in this society are the ones for hedge fund managers who've got to get their bonuses from Bank of America and AIG, not working people. Forget them. So we got a two-class system here. We've got an elite and a mass, and if you're in the elite, you get some hope of justice or more than justice, but the average person, you can forget it. So the defined benefit pensions are in trouble. Now, Social Security. We're told that there has been no inflation over the past 12 months. Actually, the Department of Labor Consumer Price Index, with their obsolete and absurd market basket, claims that there's a 1.3% deflation. Well, this is baloney. This is bunk. There is no deflation. This was always hokum. The appearance of it is given by the fact that the oil bubble collapsed from 150 down to 30 last year, but it's now crept up again, and we're up to 77 per barrel this morning. But the Social Security Administration says there will be no cost of living increase for seniors under Social Security. Now, there are a lot of things wrong with this. The Consumer Price Index was doctored and basically destroyed in its value by Michael Boskin, under the first Bush administration. This is now in the early 90s. Boskin said, the CPI overestimates the real inflation. We want to tone it down. We don't want to pay so much. So essentially, the thing was doctored and fixed. The inflation is there, and it comes in the form of insurance of all kinds, medical care of all kinds, education of all kinds, and other things that are not reflected in the market basket. Back in a minute.